I hope our friends trickle in as we go along. But yeah, I will also post on VC Learning. So please remind me to say we finished the syllabus and all remaining sessions are for consultation. So yeah, you're more than welcome to come and consult if you feel there's something you'd like to go over or address in relation to the module. Right. Is that fine? Or you guys would prefer we continue to link up? I thought you would agree with me. So jumping into learning unit 4, learning unit 3 we covered before your assignment, which is the last thing we went over. Here they are talking about Web 2.0, right? And we introduce emergent knowledge management practices. In practical, we focus in the discussion of social networks, how they facilitate knowledge sharing, and how they benefit from community technologies. Okay, so Web 2.0 is a new version of the World Wide Web. Okay, it allows users to interact and collaborate with each other in a social media dialogue as creators of user-generated content. So if you think just around things like Facebook, Instagram, we create the content on the platform as users, and that's what they're pretty much talking to. Because here they say where people are limited to the passive viewing of content, they're talking about regular websites. All right, so before Web 2.0, we just had websites where you could only gain information from. You couldn't necessarily post information onto the respective platform. Okay. So here they're just speaking to the fact that these applications work almost like a desktop, in that, you know, obviously we can put files on you to desktops and so on. Okay, so here refers to several technologies which combine together to provide the possibility to create more interactive applications to users. Okay, so here now these are the various applications. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this. We got blogs, collective intelligence, mashups, peer-to-peer networking, all right, online games, okay? So I'm sure those of you who have played games online, you obviously can also record those games and stuff. You've got podcasts, right? You've got social networking, virtual worlds, web services, wedges. Okay, so the list is endless. Okay, so here now they're speaking to social networking, all right? And you've got all your social media platforms there. I'm sure there's many, many more than what we have over there. So social networking, user-driven online spaces that redefine the meaning of the word socializing in the world, primarily due to the emergence of Web 2.0 applications such as Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know. I've never been on Friendster. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it. I'm surprised they, before Facebook, what I knew of was MySpace, and there was another one called High Five. Yeah, High Five. I'm actually surprised nobody ever speaks of High Five. You don't think you existed?
I don't think I existed during high five time.
During High Five, it's very possible. What was that? We're talking about 2007.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, so very possible. In a sense, Web 2.0 enables widely available knowledge management systems that deliver value to communities that have sufficient incentives to provide content to these popular social sites. Okay? Yes. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay, right. We're at the cinema now. Okay. Okay, so yeah, here now they're just speaking to the fact that social network research focuses on knowledge held by entities. Okay, you've got nodes, people, or information systems, and the relationship between them, which is referred to as ties. So here, ties characterized by type, strength, and density. All right, the things connecting the various nodes, is it? And then nodes represent individuals and organizations. These are pretty much your users. Okay. Researchers focus on dyadic analysis. Okay. So you've got two types of dyadic analysis. You've got ego networks, and this is where all relationships maintained by one node. Okay. And then you've got whole network analysis, all nodes and ties. Okay, so this is now where um, it's maintained by more than one, you could say, node. And we know nodes are individuals and organizations. Okay, so I'd look at Facebook, for instance, as a place where you can think of whole network analysis, because you got different organizations, different individuals, right? So yeah, and then knowledge sharing. Business is built on relationships and information. New set of social offerings range from con contact management to social network-based enterprise solutions. Okay, right. Okay, so here, yeah, they're just speaking to Wikipedia and how it is collaborative content. All right. Contributors must follow rules and guidelines in terms of the content, conduct, deletion, enforcement, legal, and procedural. Okay, so yeah, now this is just speaking to blogs. Blogs, I think, are pretty self-explanatory. Then mashup, program or website that contributes two or more online software products. Okay, integrate multiple application programming interfaces and combine data or functionality of original services. Can be used to better combine, uh, visualize, or aggregate data. Okay, so for instance, I could say on the YouTube channel, you can go live. You can obviously upload content, like we're going to upload this video or this lecture, should I say. And then at the same time, you could also host, um, like, what do you call this, online sessions with people and stuff like that. So it's a collaboration of different, I've forgotten the word they used here. Let me just go back one. Collaboration of online software products. Okay. So yeah, then here they're talking to Folksonomy. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Okay, but yeah, these are the different applications, and we could go on. Here now they also speak to open source, so you guys can just read on that. But open source is something that's not too foreign from what we already know, because we use that. All of you who have Android phones are using open source code. All right, and open source is where everybody has access to the code that was used to develop the Android platform, right? So there you have free distribution, free source code, derived works, integrity of the author's source code. Okay, so here you're embracing cooperation and collaboration as a source of competitive edge. All right, and value is added through participation. The whole idea is that if we all have access to this code, it's going to constantly be improved. Okay, it's going to be constantly improved. Now, the downside of that is obviously things like hacking and stuff like that. But yeah, so here they say internet-based communities of software developers who voluntarily collaborate in order to develop software that they or their organization need. Okay, so the good part is when it's open source, it means I don't need to start from scratch. I don't believe Facebook's code is open source, right? But for instance, if it was open source, that means that instead, if I wanted to create something similar, I would just go get that code and then obviously adapt it to whatever I'm trying to do. Does that make sense? So it creates more competition, right? Um, and obviously through competition, things improve. So here they're talking to motives now, okay? Need for product, desire to create and improve, what I've been speaking to, reputation and status within the community. Obviously, you know, if we develop something that is top notch or better than the last thing, that's going to improve my status and reputation. Affiliation, identity, value and ideology, then training, learning, reputation, outside the community, and career concerns. Right. Right. So here's just a recap on the key stuff pertaining to what we've gone through just so far. Then virtual worlds. I think we're now starting to tackle something that is more relevant to our time or current affairs. All right. So virtual worlds, breakthrough idea, transform the way businesses function. Okay, so I'm sure we all have heard about the metaverse, right? Something that Facebook has been working on. I think there was a lot of noise about this maybe like a year and a half ago. So this is not like it's completely brand new. All right. And obviously here, hey, the functionality of the metaverse is, and it's not only the metaverse, but I think that's the one that is most popular that we know of. But it's unlimited. And one of the key things here is that it can help users to develop new skills that can be transferred to the real world. Okay. Um, One of the things that I've seen people do is walk through houses, um, you know, attend concerts and all this kind of stuff. So these things really do open doors to a totally new life experience. And I think the capabilities are limitless. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, the whole question is the technology is there. Is now how do we convert that so that we can obviously then create an opportunity or um, address a threat or overcome a threat, so to speak. Okay. So here now, the last thing that they're just touching on in terms of Unit 4 is the three worlds of IT. Okay. So does it really matter? Of course it does. Why? Because IT has a positive influence on knowledge management and organizational learning. Okay. It also can be used to improve organizational learning in times of turnover. Turnover in the sense that people leaving, right? So we obviously need to upskill whoever now comes into the business. And so we can utilize IT in order to do that. So here, the three different categories, all right, or the three worlds of IT. You've got the function IT, which supports completing specific tasks, okay? So, you know, is it last week? Last week, Wi-Fi was down. We couldn't even connect projectors to do lectures. So we need that IT function in order to complete specific tasks. Okay, I can imagine those who use Teams and all those other platforms, all of it is connected to the Wi-Fi. Without Wi-Fi, can't function. And that's just one example, but the whole thing that I'm speaking to is how the IT function enables us to carry out our respective working tasks. Okay. Then network IT supports interaction. Okay. I can be speaking to a colleague in Durban. We have, when you guys have submitted your assignments, when you've written your tests, either just after we've actually collected scripts or before we've actually collected the scripts, right? We have a marking call. And on a marking call, we then discuss how was the assessment and how are people finding the performance, right? And are we being too harsh? Are we being too lenient? Depending on how we are marking respectively. So network IT enables all of that. Otherwise, we'd have to get conferences and fly in everybody, okay? And then, so yeah, just speaking to interaction there. Then enterprise IT, specific business processes, okay? Without IT, we wouldn't be able to conduct certain specific business processes, all right? So, for instance, things like databases, in order to uh, capture our customers' data, in order to also be able to access and retrieve that data. The list is endless. We could talk about POS machines where we make payments if we were running a grocery store, etc. etc. So again, guys, I would advise when you're studying or when you're preparing for the exam, please pay attention to these recap slides, because the recap slides will help you zone in on what is important, right? And these key things you must be able to get to very easily. I know you're taking your textbooks into the exam, but please make sure that you can get to this information very easily, because this is where we're going to be asking you questions. I'm sure you've also realized, if you've been actually using the slides when doing your assignments, just to get some key information or look at some key aspects, that this is where we have been asking you questions for your assignments. Not so. Okay, so please just make sure on that front. So that there is your learning unit 4. Okay, so let me just quickly